tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Authenticity is the act of being true to one's personality. That's being genuine, being real.
Authenticity is the attempt to be true to oneself, despite the pressures that we feel from society and everything coming at us externally. So I think it's that attempt to be true to yourself, basically. That's what I would define authenticity to be.
I consider authenticity as being true. It's just like living. It's just a way of life, like just being free, no pressure, nothing. Okay, there are pressures, but you don't let it get to you.
People fake for a lot of reasons, really, because they're not comfortable with who they are, because they feel like they can be more than who they are, they can be more than where they are at a particular point in time, because they want to feel among, sort of, they want to be part of the elite class, and maybe they're not up to that level. And so it's like, I must belong, sort of, let me use that phrase. That's why a lot of people fake.
Authenticity, it lies a lot on being sustained internally, first of all, before considering everything that is external. And I think it's one of the reasons why people are so attracted to that virtue or idea of being authentic. It's that it stems from everything internal, first of all. And I think that's what makes us more human.
People want to be seen as relevant. People want to be seen as big, high up there. So sometimes they may want to fake so that other people tend to recognize them as,
And people need to like embrace their emotions, like, oh, this is how I react to this is how I react to that, this is how I react to this is how I react to that. And you should embrace it, not when it's toxic though. You should have a limit, but you should embrace it, and like you should make it you. And that this is, like they say, follow your heart and follow your passion. So you should be able to refine it and how to shape you and all.
I think, very simply, giving into the pressures of the opinions of society and culture. I think that's in our generation, it's one of the greatest struggles that we face. Everybody's trying to sell an idea to you. Everybody is giving you opinions. There are so many voices and none is without signification. Everybody's telling you what to do, how to do this. There's just so much pressure about what to conform to and how to conform. And so I feel giving into those pressures, giving into those voices is what makes one unauthentic. And you get to a point where you become very confused. You don't have a true definition of who you are, and I feel that's basically what it means to be unauthentic.
I think every human being should have principles, and not be principles just because you want to be rigid, you want to be tough, because that's what people think. When you hear principles, you're like, oh, he's rigid, he's tough, he's this. That's not it. It's just a pattern, what's it called? How do I explain this? What you believe in, how you live your life. If everybody's doing this, you don't have to do it because everybody's doing this. You need to have a reason for doing it.
Follow what you can do and think about it. So like, for example, truthfulness leads to like self-reflection leads to truthfulness, and it helps you. And that's why the most flawless people I've met are the most truthful people, because they know what they are good at and they just focus on that, and they put so much grind into focusing on that. Yeah.
I think I'm really authentic, reason being that I like to know what people think of me. And this is not because I have a low self-esteem, but because I like it when I'm viewed, I want to know how I'm viewed, to correct myself on some things I think I'm doing and I don't see as, and I see as, yeah, nobody can hold me to it, but sometimes you need to correct yourself on some things.
Maybe being an introvert, yeah, you don't have like a wide circle of friends. You have like this close circle of like max 10, 12 friends, and you're very loyal to them. There's a way you relate to that close circle of friends. You cannot relate to an acquaintance, because talking to too many people is very time consuming. So I'll say my most authentic quote is that loyalty to the people I love, because when I'm loyal to someone, when I love someone, I'm loyal to them, I'm truthful to them. Even if they annoy me, I don't wait for things to slide. If they do something I don't like, that moment I tell them, "Hi, guy, this thing you did," or "Girl, this thing you did, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it one bit." Yeah, that's what I'll say. I say being truthful to being loyalty.
Okay, one of the advantages authenticity brings is it attracts people to you. Not just people, but authentic people to you.
Obviously, being authentic is an important virtue because it helps you connect to a base. It helps being truthful. I'm not saying being truthful. Obviously, some people don't care about how people view them. But I think there are situations where you have to care about how people view you, and people have to find you trustworthy. Because if you're not authentic, or if you're unauthentic, people won't find you truthful. People won't find you trustworthy. It goes by industry. It doesn't, whether in financial service, entertainment, politics, anything. People have to find you worthy enough to have their time. And if they don't find, if you're unauthentic, they'll just say, "Who is this one? I don't trust you." And also, they won't want to have your time.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. You are watching Emotions with Omenesa. And this is a show where we talk about everything. But basically, it's a show that encourages you to be in control, to be in charge of your emotions, so your emotions will not be in control of you. Today, I'm pretty much talking about authenticity. Authenticity. If you've been watching this show, you would realize that I like wearing head wraps, and that's called a gele. Okay, so I love wearing head wraps. Now, when we're talking about authenticity, authenticity pretty much means the core, your core values, who you really are, who you really are. A lot of people are out of touch. A lot of people are out of sync with their real selves. People don't know who they are. A lot of people do not know. So I'm gonna take you through my journey. I'm always talking about my journey. So I will tell you about my journey. First of all, some of you know I was raised in a bishop's home. When you are raised in a pastor's home or raised in a religious home, it's very hard for you to have your own identity, because you're picking up the identity of a religion, you're picking up the identity of family members, you're picking up the identity of a belief that you may not even believe in, okay? So I started off in that way. Then I ended up with a spinal disease, which of course, when God did not heal me and I had to go for surgery, we had to pay $65,000, and I had to go through all these different changes, it made me question my beliefs. Was I serving a God because my parents were serving that God, or did I really, really believe in that God? So that's an example of somebody who is authentic, okay? That is like your true self. Authenticity is not lying. So you're not lying to people, and you are not lying to yourself. Now, how do you become authentic? You become authentic by obeying your true self. If somebody asks you for money, an inauthentic person wants to show off that they do have the money to give. Even if they have the money to give, they don't want to give it. But someone who is inauthentic, they'll be like, "Okay, send me your account details." and then the person sends their details. You go ahead and you send them the money that you don't want to send. And then you get angry when the money leaves your account. You get upset. People are always using me. People are just takers. All they do is take. People don't give. No. You were not true to your authenticity. Somebody stepped on your toes. You didn't tell them. That person is just so rude, so vile. They just do whatever they want to do. No, that's their personality. And they don't owe you an explanation. But you owe it to yourself and to your sanity to let them know, hey, you stepped on my toes. And remember, like I've always said on my other shows, it's not everything that you confront. So that's also another way of keeping your authenticity, is not confronting everything. I'm going to give you some of my life experiences. There was a time that I couldn't walk out without makeup. Because as far as I was concerned, I was ugly. I was very ugly. I had pimples all over the place. I was so skinny. When the wind blew, it blew me. As in, I doubted that I actually had flesh. I was just skinny. And it disturbed me. I didn't understand why I was not a figure 8. I was a figure 1. Or like even a 0. Like I was just there. You know? And it messed with my mind. Because since I was a child, or since I was younger, since I was a teenager, boys, men were always approaching my friends. And then when it comes to me, they want to talk about music. Or they want to talk about other things. Like, they are not talking about a relationship. You know? I just didn't fit the part. So, I kind of grew up with that low self-esteem, just feeling like I wasn't worthy enough, feeling like I wasn't good enough, having all these pimples and wondering what to do with them, squeezing garlic and lime and onions and putting all kinds of things on my face, just trying to be presentable. And then I would use 3, 4 layers of makeup all over my face, just trying to look presentable. But who told me that I was not presentable in the first place? It really, really affected me that my looks really mattered. I think that because I am in the profession of singing and preaching and always being out there on stage, so that also added to me being self-conscious. However, when it becomes a situation where you can't do without it, then it has become an addiction. And an addiction is a problem. So I was addicted to my looks. It's almost like a narcissist. You know, like you fall in love with your reflection. You know, like it's like those people that take selfies, but like it's to the point where it's like 100 selfies in like 2 minutes. Something is actually wrong with that, but we're not going there. So basically, when I felt like this was a problem, I decided that I was not going to wear makeup for about 3 months. So I had on no makeup. Every Sunday, my hair was natural. I didn't tie the hair to make everybody believe that the hair tie was part of my attire. Because there are some people too that are so ashamed of the condition of their hair that they will now wear like a matching headgear or something. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because after all, I do that. But when your motive is because you're not proud of your natural hair, you know, it's so funny, like people losing their, like they lose their braids and then they can't walk out with their real, like with their hair. And then they tie it up and then they say, oh no, my hair is not done. No, your hair is done, it's just nappy. It's nappy, it's the exact way that God made you, that God created you. As a black woman, God did not create me with straight hair. He didn't do that. So how many things am I going to tweak in my life? What next am I going to tweak? My nose? What, I'm going to perm my nose to make it straight? I'm going to perm everything on my body to make it align? No, I might as well just accept it. So that's what I did. Be real. But not being scared of being who you are. That is authenticity. Being who you really, really are. Being who you really, really are. So I kept on going to church. I went to church. I went everywhere with my nappy hair, but it was braided with my own hair, not with extensions. And I would never forget the day that some deacon in my church like came up to me and he was like, I've been telling my wife about you, how she should follow your lifestyle. That with all your pedigree, with all that you have, you are still humble enough to wear your natural hair. That was a compliment to me, but it also made me laugh that people associated humility with natural hair. And that showed me that this is probably a taboo. It's probably something that we should talk about. We'll talk about it some more when I come back. Welcome back. So we are talking about authenticity. Authenticity. It simply means being your true self and obeying your true self. And I've been telling you my process. I pretty much told you how there was a season in my life where I couldn't walk out without makeup. I just couldn't do it. I thought I was ugly. So I went through this exercise where I decided that I was gonna go through this season without wearing makeup, and I was gonna rock my natural hair. And when I was rocking my natural hair, which I still do, but this is just braided now, but under it is not permed. And that is not a religious decision. I am a Pentecostal and we do perm our hair. So it's not a religious decision. However, it's an authentic decision that I am not going to fry my hair. I am not going to kill my hair. I am going to love my hair by pampering my hair. That's authenticity. I am not going to try to be somebody else or to be some other kind of texture. I'm just gonna be myself. But it took me a long time to get there. So I was telling you the story about when I went to church and a deacon came up to me and he said, I've been telling my wife about you. Can't you see how Pastor Omenesa is in line? Like, she's just so natural, she's just so humble. Even though that was a compliment for me, to me, that also showed me, like, it was like a red flag. Like, it made me realize that a lot of people are not comfortable with just being themselves. And then it kind of shocked me that his word, humility was synonymous to natural hair. Wow. Okay. So you must be humble in order to wear natural hair. Once again, that was a compliment, but the humility is not from rocking natural hair. The humility is from the ability to be natural, the ability to be yourself, the ability to be yourself, which is very, very hard. A lot of people will find out that on their journey to authenticity, they will find out just how inauthentic they are. And I was giving you secrets. The first step in being authentic is to learn to say no. No. If you don't have 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira or 5,000 naira and somebody asks you for that amount and you know you don't have it, it's absolutely crazy to go out and slave yourself to try to get the money so you can impress who? You know? So the feeling or your need to impress somebody else is inauthentic. My makeup artist is not just my makeup artist, she's also a good friend of mine. And so, of course, I like to have her around. But there was a day that she came over and she told me that she had to be home at a certain time. And I had to respect that. She took her things and she went home at that certain time. It would have been totally inauthentic of her to stay over, maybe stay for 30 minutes more or 1 hour more, knowing that it would have been a problem and it would probably mess up the rest of her day and it would mess up the whole schedule. So being real with yourself is authenticity. I don't smoke. That's not a religious thing. That's because I love myself enough to love my lungs. I love my lungs. I need my lungs to live. Therefore, I don't smoke. That's authenticity. It's totally inauthentic to walk out of the house with 20 layers of makeup simply because you cannot be humble enough to get used to your real face. So you have to hide who you really are. When you feel the need to hide who you are, to hide your status, to lie about where you live, to lie about who you are, to be fake. When you are fake, you are not being authentic. I remember when I first came to Nigeria, and I remember when I struggled so much with speaking the Nigerian accent. It was just, I struggled with it. I felt that if I didn't use it, maybe I wouldn't get a better job. Maybe I wouldn't get a better position. Maybe I wouldn't this, or maybe I wouldn't that. But when I embraced myself, I eventually learned how to actually speak the accent properly to where I can now speak both. I can speak American and I can speak Nigerian very, very well. And I do not speak it for any ulterior motive. I just speak it because I have it to speak. So when you have to completely alter yourself, alter your values, alter your whole belief system, simply for you to be able to conform or to compromise or to make other people happy, then you're being inauthentic. I was talking to you about how there was a season where I made sure that I wore my natural hair. I did not wear nails. I did not wear makeup. Nothing is wrong with wearing all of those things. But if you need all of those things to keep you secure, then something is very, very wrong. And that's part of why I went into the career as an emotional coach, is I want people to be real, because I have been through my season of being absolutely fake. Just being fake. And I also told you that my profession as a singer has put me in positions where I have to save face most of the time. But now I don't even do that anymore. I just show up just the way that I am, the way that God made me. I love myself just the way that God made me. And I am proud of myself. And I want you to also be proud of who you are. Be real. Say yes when you need to say yes. Say no when you need to say no. Take care of your body. Take care of your temple. Fall in love with yourself. Do not become a narcissist where you completely fall in love with your reflection. No, but fall in love with your heart. Work on the things that you know that you need to work on. If you know that you do have blunders, if you know that you are rude, if you know that you roll your eyes, if you know that you check people from head to toe to determine if you would respect them or not, that is rude. Remember, every single person is equal. All of us were made from a speck of dust, so you are not better than anybody. The only way to survive in this life is to be real, and you will be shocked that vulnerability, transparency is the open door to anything in life. So my conclusion, be authentic, be the real you. And if you don't know who you are, then start working on those things that you know that you lie about. When you find yourself in situations where you are lying or you're trying to cover up, that's a sign that you're walking in inauthenticity, okay? Letting people step on your toes, but you also stepping on people's toes, that's kind of fake. So become who you want to be. Be the reflection of what you want to attract, and all will be well. Till next time, bye-bye. You will have to jump off a cliff, just knowing that you will not crash. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Hello and welcome.